got a dad joke?
Yep.
Go for it.
I don't think you'll like it.
Oh.
You may.
You got me nervous.
I picked it because it's got a polar bear in it, and I just want to feel a little cooler because it's so hot here.
It is so hot here.
So hot. So.
I'm worried last week when we did our night ride, you came in with, this is the second week in a row you came in with Fight Club ride.
I know.
Oh, I'm not supposed to talk about Fight Club ride.
This is the second podcast. You're going to lose your card.
I've referenced, but yeah. I'm Tyler Durden. I can't lose my card. Anyways, it was 90 degrees when we stopped the ride last week.
Oh, really?
At like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Oh. But when the sun goes down, it's a little better. So,
yeah.
And the nice thing about polar bears, is they have a place to keep their money. Did you know that?
Polar bears
have
a place to keep their money.
Yeah.
Don't know.
You know where it's at?
Where's it at?
The snowbank.
Oh, God. Very good name.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I thought it transitioned into that decent.
Anyways, podcast has been doing great, blowing up. We really appreciate all of our listeners and new listeners, and please share. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give
like
us
and
feedback.
Subscribe. We're still doing YouTube.
Although I haven't turned today's episode on yet on YouTube. I got to do it. Remind me to do it before a ride.
Okay. All right.
And I'll definitely do it. I got to.
What will all the YouTubers do?
They're just going to have to, I don't know. We're not getting that many views on YouTube, but we're doing plenty on the other platforms.
You know what I like though? When I watch YouTube a lot, and it comes up on my thing now. So I've only listened to the podcast once on YouTube. But now it comes up on my feed because my feed gives me all these mountain bike podcasts. Yeah. And so it's really cool. So.
Yeah, because that's what you have running while you're working on suspension a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
All right. So today's episode, we did an episode on effectively like the Chinese bike companies and bike product companies that were starting to kind of upscale or upcycle a bit and offer products and talked about all that. That episode did really, really well. So we thought it would be cool if we carried on that concept and did some additional episodes on other countries and highlight the bike products that are available and manufactured in many different countries. So the United States, which is what we're going to do today, we'll do one on Canada, one on Taiwan, Indonesia, Vietnam, maybe Cambodia, and maybe Europe. And so today we thought, America, which it's like 4th of July, 250 years. Yeah. We should focus on mountain bike related companies that design and manufacture in America.
Yeah.
So the way I thought we'd go, and we haven't even talked about this, so we're gonna debate live here on how this episode will play out. But I got my list broken down into different types, like frames, components, suspension, whatever. I can just read the company.
Okay.
And you can tell me what you know, what you think, what you like, what they do.
Okay.
And I think you should know all these. So this should be pretty easy.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. So first one, first topic is frames.
Okay.
Frames are bikes, but effectively frames. And I got a handful of companies here, and I actually own one of these brands. So when we get to that, we'll talk about it. But the first one, U.S. made and manufactured bike frame company is Moots.
Yes.
Yeah. What can you tell us about Moots?
Steamboat springs, titanium, really cool, hand built, probably kind of becoming one of the premier hand built titanium frames that, like a household name. They've weathered the storm. They're lasting longer than anybody.
Yep.
So just really cool. And they're making
they're high end, really high end bikes. Very expensive.
Yeah. You can get custom, but they do standard frames too. So a lot of companies they cut their teeth on just making hand built frames. That was back in the day. You would get like a Ericsson or a Davidson or Gilmore is a Tucson guy.
Yep.
Nobody else will know except Tucsonans. Serrata, I've got my Fat Chance. A lot of those were built, custom. You'd send them measurements and they'd make you a custom one. Then they figured out maybe if we made some that are really stock,
right,
we can sell more bikes. And so a lot of them are doing that now too.
Okay.
So.
Let's stick with titanium.
Okay.
And we'll kind of go through a handful of bikes. The next one is the brand that I have.
Yep.
And I think of it as the poor man's Moots.
Yeah.
But it's Lightspeed.
Yes. Yeah, Lightspeed's kind of crazy because Lightspeed used to be Linsky.
Did it really? I didn't know that.
Linsky is the family that started it. And then they were sold, and I don't know if they were sold more than once, but they're now American
And they're
brands.
Chattanooga, Tennessee, is that right?
Something like that,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
But they're, I think it's American Bicycle brand is the parent company. I may have that wrong. But I was surprised because usually when an American company or American company gets bought, it gets bought by some foreign company.
Yeah.
That gobbles it up. But yeah, they're still doing bikes. Famous for, I don't think they do. Did we check your bike where they bond in aluminum in the head tube?
I don't believe there's any aluminum bonded in my head tube. I believe it's the whole thing's titanium.
Yeah, they used to bond in wherever you had to press something in the head tube and at the seat post, they'd bond aluminum in. So aluminium. So
I'm just looking up real quick. Who owns Lightspeed bikes?
it's American Bicycle brands. Or American.
Let's see what they say. And then we're looking it up, searching the web. Who owns Lightspeed bikes? Lightspeed is owned by American Bicycle Group.
There we go.
ABG, and I was correct. They're based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, they own a bunch of companies. So here's something that's interesting about that company.
Yep.
A lot of their companies that they own don't produce in the U.S. So I think Lightspeed is one of the only ones.
Okay. They own Obed Bikes.
Yeah.
And the triathlon brand Quintana Roo.
Yeah. So both of those I think are made overseas.
Yep.
So.
And you're actually was correct. The Linsky family founded Lightspeed in 1986, then sold to the American Bicycle Group in 1999.
And then opened up Linsky Bikes.
And then they started their own company.
So, which is crazy.
Which is totally crazy.
Yeah.
Which is since filed for bankruptcy. Okay. The next one, I don't know that you'll know this one.
Okay.
I know this one. You'll probably know this one. Sage Titanium.
Yeah, Sage is kind of cool. I had a friend who was looking for a bike packing bike, and that was one of the companies that we looked at. They're Pacific Northwest, if I remember, Oregon maybe.
Beaverton, Oregon.
Yeah. And so really cool bikes, smaller batch stuff.
You know who else is in Beaverton, Oregon?
No.
Nike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Lacey worked there.
Nice.
Just outside of Portland. Oh. All right. So Sage, Lightspeed, Moots. One more. This one does titanium and steel. And this is Chumba.
Oh,
USA.
yeah. Chumba's crazy because I don't know what owner. They're so different from what they used to be. Back in the day when I was racing nationally.
Because they made downhill bikes for a while, right?
But it's not the same company anymore. And now it's all like kind of bike packing, hardtails, titanium and stuff.
Okay.
And so I was looking at them too. I'm not really sure if the old company and the new company really have anything except a name, so.
All right. One more. Well, actually two more. There's a lot of titanium in here.
Yeah. Well, that's that custom build, smaller batch kind of
vibe.
And also that's something you can do. So yeah. Okay. That's why I think they're US made, because the reason people buy them is for them to be hand built and meticulous and attention to detail, and the price could be higher.
But you can get titanium bikes that are not U.S. made,
but they're usually considered cheaper,
right? Like Revel makes titanium bikes that are not in the I believe they're not in the United States.
Yeah, the Y is the company they bought.
Yeah.
And so
I think Y was actually their first company, and then they started
that could be
Revel afterwards.
Yeah. But I think what it is when you make it mass.
By the way, Revel not made in the United States, just for the record.
Yeah. When you make it mass overseas, I think it gets stigmatized and you don't get the same the creed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it doesn't, by the way, mean that it's worse.
No.
The product.
No, we found that out.
It's got a stigma.
Yeah. It's and there's something to be said if you're, I don't know, and you're calling a frame builder and saying, I need these measurements and talking back and
totally
forth.
Sexy.
Yeah.
So. And you can go back if you guys are interested in this kind of custom frame building thing. We've got a really interesting episode back in the archives with Bohemian Bikes.
Dave Bohm. Yeah.
Dave Bohm in Tucson.
Yeah.
And I still want to do his deal and make my own bike at some point. Okay.
That'd be cool.
So two more titanium. By the way, we talked about Sage. Chumba does steel and titanium. Sklar bikes and Bingham built bikes. You know either of those?
Yeah. Sklar. Is it Sklar?
Sorry, Sklar.
Sklar. Okay.
Sklar.
Yeah. So Adam Sklar, if I remember correctly,
okay,
is same thing. He's going overseas, so he's starting to build overseas.
Is he? Okay.
Yep. But got his reputation doing local. Just a cool frame builder. Definitely one of the more popular ones lately.
So there's a theme coming out of this with like a lot of like small batch frame builders building titanium frames in the titanium and steel frames in the United States.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more than these that we're naming.
Yeah.
As far as like, if you think about like the handmade or the made
the tiny little ones.
The guys that just do a couple frames a year. There's there's a couple in Tucson. There's lots and lots and lots of them. These are more of the established ones. All right. So we talked about Moots, Lightspeed, Chumba, Sage, Sklar, and Bingham built. Let's go to some.
So do you have Stinner?
I have Stinner. I do have Stinner, yes, and they also do titanium frames.
So Stinner is a big story because when all the tariffs were going on, Stinner was one of the biggest bike manufacturers in the U.S. and they were ramping up production. So they were in the news quite a bit. So Stinner and Adam and there's one other guy. I don't think it's Sage, but there's like 2 or 3 guys that all make bikes, and they kind of collab and talk to each other and help each other, or maybe they worked for one or the other or something like that. And so that's kind of a cool story that you can get into there. But Stinner's doing more mass production, which is cool because it's similar to custom, but mass production. I think he's still U.S. I don't know if he has any overseas.
It's interesting. Some of these that we've talked about, and I have it broken out here, like none of the ones that we've talked about so far, all of them are just, as far as I know, are just in the United States. But you've got some new news, right? Like Stinner's kind of thinking about going overseas.
So there's a good YouTube video about where I don't know if Stinner's doing it, but Adam is, and then there's one other one, and I can't remember the name of the company. Oh, it's Neuhaus.
Okay.
And they're all focusing on these Asian builders, one in particular frame manufacturer that is like a craftsman.
And Neuhaus makes some frames in the United States.
Yeah, I think,
and they have some that are made overseas, and like the one that the guy we're going to ride with tonight.
He got a stock one overseas.
He got a Taiwanese built one, right?
And so, but the YouTube that I watched with these guys was really kind of going over the quality that was over there and the craftsmanship, and they did a little tour of his frame building facility. And this isn't like I remember seeing like a How It's Made or something, and they were showing a bike factory, and you could tell they were making Walmart bikes. Like it was awful, like the way that they bonded the frames together and stuff. And it's not like that. These guys are like artists,
real frame builders.
Yeah. And the reason that I know all this is because during tariffs, there was a lot of discussion on could you bring this back to the U.S. To avoid those tariffs, and they were talking about even if you could get the machinery over here, which is going to be tariffed. Because it's coming from over there.
Itself,
then those people are still over there. It takes craftsmen to make these hand-built frames. So hand-built in Taiwan and hand-built in the U.S. is not far off.
From a quality perspective.
Yeah.
Well, lots of options for titanium and steel frames. And I'll tell you, like, I've got a titanium gravel bike, a Lightspeed. It was relatively inexpensive. That's why I called it like the poor man's Moots.
Yeah.
Amazing bike. I love it. I rode, before I got into trying to like learn how to ride bigger stuff, I rode basically hardtail single speed steel frame or titanium frame bikes. If you don't have suspension on the back or suspension at all, like there's something about steel and titanium that it like kind of helps eat up some of the chatter.
Yeah.
And so steel is real. Titanium is amazing. If you're thinking about a hardtail or you're thinking about a gravel bike, I would strongly recommend considering titanium, or if you can't afford it, steel bikes. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, some bigger names, and interesting to see what you think here.
Okay.
These are some older names, but I did verify that all of these are still producing in the United States. You may argue with me on a couple of these. So
I know one I'm going to argue with.
Yeah,
but
we'll see. So the first one's Foes.
Yeah, no, they are. So yeah.
Yep.
So
tell me about Foes.
So they were one of the first to do hydroforming, which is like
aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum, blasting it with super hot oil and making shapes and then welding it down the middle. Really cool bikes. Not super high tech. They're not cutting edge company. They're just hand built. And those guys do, a lot of off-road racing. And so their craftsmanship is great. Their welds are great. They're, if you get a Foes, you're not looking for cutting edge technology. You're looking for somebody who made it in America and really made it great. So.
And I would say, like you say, it's not cutting edge technology. Like all these, like frame kinematics, like suspension kinematics have been worked out. So you got to imagine that these bikes perform well.
A good hand-built frame will have certain characteristics figured out that make it ride like you were talking about, where it gives it a smoother ride. Whereas, if you just copy a frame in Asia and just send it out, you may miss some of the nuances that gives it. Like if you're butting some tubing or if you're changing a head angle or bottom bracket, drop or something like that. So,
all right, next one is Ventana.
Ventana's cool. So Ventana's made a lot of frames for other companies. So I have a couple of Ventanas, and they do a lot of tandems. So they're still surviving, but they would do contract work for other companies. So like Ellsworth,
yep,
and then Moots, I believe, and a couple other companies.
If you go back in time to episode 42. You will hear an episode called Old Ventana Mountain Bikes USA.
Oh, yeah. You said that.
Sherwood Gibson.
You met that guy.
Yeah.
So,
who was, I think, the original founder.
Yeah.
And he now works at my company.
Yeah, which is cool.
Randomly.
Yeah.
Or did at least at the time.
Yeah.
So you can go back to episode 42 if you want to hear all about Ventana bikes and the history of Ventana bikes.
Yeah.
Episode 42 will give you that. Next one's Intense.
That's the one that I'll argue with.
They are making a lot of frames. So my research says that their carbon frames are all produced overseas.
Yeah.
But their aluminum frames are still made in the United States.
The only aluminum frame I could find was their dirt jumper.
Is that the only one they have?
I didn't spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure most of their frames are overseas.
Okay. We know that all their carbon ones are, right?
Yeah.
Then this is the company that did the thing where they put them in Costco.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They made some
Which I almost bought.
Questionable decisions. But the big thing is back in the day, they probably had the best aluminum welders in the world.
Yeah.
And they were producing some of the best aluminum welds, on bikes by far.
Yep.
And at some point, the whole industry shift to carbon, and they took forever. One of my race bikes is an M3, and they were just making aluminum. Still, there a lot of their prototypes are still made in Temecula and California. And but yeah, I don't know if they're making an alloy e-bike frame, but almost nothing else is.
All their carbon stuff.
Yeah, they have one dirt jumper, and again, maybe they make 100 of those a year. I'm not sure.
Not a lot of dirt jumpers.
So that's the one I'll argue with you. They're really not.
You don't feel like they're a USA brand anymore.
Not anymore. No.
All right. Well, if you know, hop in and let us know.
Okay. Yeah.
To our listeners, right?
Yeah.
The final one I have on my list here, and I know that this is not an exclusive list, like there's other companies that we missed, is Reeb.
Yeah, Reeb is cool. So Reeb, right? It's beer backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yep.
There's some people that don't know that, but yeah, those guys are cool. I don't know them well enough to know
to speak on them,
if their bikes are made here or not.
So they have
they got a lot of culture.
They have some U.S. models. They say that I'm going to screw these names up, but the Steezy, Sam's Pants, the SST, and then Dickless.
Yeah.
The Dickless. Those are all apparently.
Sure that's not Dickless?
It probably is.
Okay.
But spelled differently.
Okay.
Dickulous.
Okay.
Are all made in the United States, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
They have one called the Hall Pass that's made in Taiwan. So I think they're doing both.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about a bunch of titanium, Moots, Lightspeed, Chumba, Sage, Stinner, Bingham, Sklar. We talked about Reeb. We talked about Foes, Ventana, and Intense. I'm sure there's other amazing American-made frames or bikes out there. So if there's one that we missed that you think was just a complete oversight that we should have mentioned, please comment, let us know, and we'll bring that up in a future episode. As a comparison or as a correction. So that's frames. You ready to move on to something else, or is there another frame builder that you or frame company that you think?
No.
All right. The next, and I've only found one. Well, there might be two. It's like 1.5, and this is suspension.
Okay.
And Push is the only company I can find.
Yeah.
Push Industries that actually manufactures in the United States.
Used to be Fox. Used to be Fox, and that's relatively new. I mean, could be 10, 15 years.
Since they took stuff overseas?
Yeah. I remember, I want to say some of their first ones overseas were the Evolutions, which were a big flop, but I'm not 100% sure. And that was 2012-ish. So
tell us about Push. Like you're a suspension guy.
Yeah. So Push, as far as I know, I don't know 100%, but from what I remember, they were some of the Fox engineers were, went off on their own, and they really, really were getting into the data acquisition on suspension and telemetry, and just kind of testing bikes and getting feedback from racers and putting instruments on the bikes to find out how to make the suspension better. They kind of wanted to go one level up from Fox. I have no idea, what caused that, but they split off and started Push. And originally Push was kind of a service center. It was not really
like a tuner, right?
Yeah.
They offered like upgrade packages and special tunes to existing suspension products.
Before they actually made their own products, they were taking and doing things like maybe remilling out they
were modding existing products.
effectively. And trying to make it better.
Yeah. And then eventually they started putting out their own products.
Yeah. And they really focused on data acquisition to kind of justify what they were doing and to kind of basically be the expert for who's making it better, And I remember that Fox wouldn't work on anything that
Push had touched. And I remember there was like a sticker, like if your fork had been pushed.
Yep.
There was a frame, and you do that same thing with your suspension, right?
Yeah.
You got the guru. You kind of maybe you copied there.
I mean, certainly, I'm trying to think. Yeah, mine was after them. So I certainly was like, oh, you could put your name on there, Mine was different reasoning, but I mean,
if you get a fork that's got a Guru suspension sticker on it, I know that fork at some point has been taken care of.
Yes, yeah.
And someone's opened the guts and like made sure that everything's cool inside.
Yeah. And in my case, it was to make sure that I did the work and somebody else didn't. That's where that came from, the origin story of that sticker. Whereas Push, I think they were adding a little bit of like clout. You didn't just have anyone work on it. We worked on it.
Yeah.
And so it was a little different motivation at the beginning.
But they've got their own products now. They have a fork.
They don't do service anymore.
Yeah. They've got a fork. They've got...
came out with the rear shock first.
Rear shock first. As a matter of fact, I'm holding in my hand.
Yep.
And I got this in the mail today from Push.
Nice.
This is a 11.6 spring.
Yeah. Did you tell them what bike that was for?
No, why?
The funny story. So Josh has... my old 11.6.
Yeah. Can I tell a story of how I bought that from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so Tucson every year has a bike swap.
Yeah.
And it's just anybody that wants to go out there that's got a lot of bike parts can take it out there. It's like a swap meet for bikes.
Yeah.
And they do it twice a year. They do it once in the spring, once in the summer, or once in the fall. That's because the summer's too hot for us to do this.
Yeah.
And, if you own a bike shop and you sell used bike products, you end up accumulating lots and lots and lots of used bike stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe even some new stuff.
Or you get rid of your closeouts and stuff. Yeah.
So Dane goes out to the bike swap every year or twice a year. And I try to go out and help him if I can. And one of the years I went out and helped him. I think I was trying to sell my e-bike or something too at the same time. But at the end of the day, that's when I like to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got the leftover shit.
Yep.
And so Dane had this Push shock, and I was like, hey, would that fit on any of my bikes? He's like, yeah, it'd fit on that Rocky I just sold you. I'm like, what's the lowest price you'll take for that? And I won't tell you what he told me, but I got it really cheap.
It was a fraction of what it
cost.
It's a $1,200 rear shock.
Yeah. So my son, my 13-year-old son now has moved up from the Ibis, which was a small frame, to the BC'd out Rocky Mountain Instinct, which is medium frame.
Yep.
And it's got the Push on it.
Push 11.6. Yeah.
And I did a bunch of research on this. You can tell me if I screwed it up, but they have 12 different levels of, first of all, there's two different, like you got to make sure you get the right spring. 'Cause there's two different, what's it called? Stroke sizes.
Yeah.
So mine takes the smaller one.
Yeah.
So I got the smaller one. And then there's 12 different
Pounds. Yeah.
And the lowest one is 400 and it goes up to like, I don't know, 900 or something. Like 25, I think it's like 25 pound increments. And so the one that I had on there was like size for someone that I would say is like 150 to 175 pounds. It's like basically my son and my wife, my older son and my wife. But my younger son is so light. So he really wasn't doing it. So I bought the number one, the lightest spring you can get, 400 pounds.
400.
And so Maddie's sub 100 pounds. So we're going to put this on and hopefully he'll get a whole lot more squish out of this suspension. Did I screw anything up here?
No, that's right. Interesting. Push does not make an 11.6 for Rocky Mountains. And so
so how am I running it on a Rocky Mountain?
So one of our riders, he was frustrated because he's like, why? And they weren't really telling him. They were just saying, we don't
believe in it.
We don't believe in it or whatever. I'm not sure. And it was a very frustrating process for him because he loves his Rocky. So he found the exact same suspension kinematics and design on a nuke proof, which they did make a shock for. And so then he ordered it, telling them that it was a nuke proof instead of a Rocky. And that's how he got it. And that's the one that you have. And so basically what I did was I had to get new hardware. So the big thing that Rocky does is they put eyelided bearings on the lower shock mount. And I think that's because Push has their own spherical. So they allow the shock to kind of turn a little bit.
I noticed that the top of that shock can turn, but the bottom can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I had to talk them in. There's a very long email chain for me to talk them into me being able to put it on a Rocky and finally get the stuff because I could not understand why they wouldn't let me do it. So, but finally they did.
So we might be that Rocky might be one of the only Rockies in the world that has a push on it.
It could be. Yeah.
Look at that.
So maybe I think I told you that too.
Yeah.
Like, this is very special. You have no idea because what you paid for the frame and the bike and the shock was probably less than
I would have paid for the shock. Based on. This is me taking advantage of Dane at moments of weakness. You just got to have a wallet full of cash. I'm just watching him.
Just have cash ready when I'm cleaning out the garage.
Yeah, I mean that's. But at that point, you're just trying to get stock out, and you're getting value for it. So
Push has been around, American company, and now they came out with that shock. Then they've revised it a few times. Now they've come out with a lower priced one, which I actually have also.
Does it perform as well?
It does. It's the 11.6 had this cool little lever that you would switch.
So you could have two different compression chambers?
Yeah, two different high speed and low speed compressions. So that's...
But a single rebound that controls both. I learned that when I set it up this weekend.
And so you can change your high speed and low speed on one circuit and set it up for cross country. And then on the other one, set it up for downhill.
Yeah.
And then you can just switch a lever back and forth between them or anywhere in between. There's so much adjustability.
I think that my primary use case, I think, is like if you're doing jumps, that's one setting because you want it to be firmer.
Yep.
Or if you're just riding the park. So if you're at the park, you can be like at the top of the trail, be like, hey, I'm going to go hit a jump line.
Yep.
Flip that, stiffen up your suspension so you get the right spring on jumps. Then the next one, you're like, I'm going to go down a tech trail, flip it back, and it's set up more for tech. And you can do that just, in 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's their big differentiator. So the other one that I bought doesn't have that. It has one circuit. So 11, or it's a S8, or I can't remember. Their names are weird. I don't understand them, so I don't memorize them. But it's a good shock. I had it on my Firebird at Whistler last time. So
this is the shout out to the bike companies out there, like naming your products things that consumers can easily remember and understand.
That makes
will
sense.
Help you sell those products better.
Yeah,
like 11.6 is a hard.
Yep,
that's a hard thing to remember.
Yeah,
I know you probably thought it was clever.
I think it's S single valve 8 or something is the other one.
SV8,
I think.
Maybe.
I don't.
Yeah, like
I
all that
remember.
stuff, all that whatever you're using with your engineers to like differentiate the products that make sense to
you know
engineers.
Who's the worst about this?
Let's see. Shimano.
Yes. Oh my God. All right. So that was a rabbit hole.
Okay. Big rabbit hole, but Push, great American company. They got the 9-1 fork. They got their 11.6 shock, hand assembled in Colorado.
Yeah. I think they're the only ones that I know of. So
one other one, a little bit. and this is MRP.
Yeah.
And they actually do some of their CNC machining in the United States, but everything else is done overseas.
Yeah. So MRP used to be, I think, fully U.S. So before MRP bought the suspension company, which used to be called White Brothers. And so the White Brothers, MRP bought them.
Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Or, somehow
they merged.
Yeah, somehow they merged. I don't know who bought who or what, but MRP came out. And MRP used to be the standard for our chain guides on our downhill bikes. They make such cool stuff. They're very unique, really different. They actually make a sweet damper that you can add to your fork that you can change out. And
that damper can make it a spring, right?
No. That would be a push and Vorsprung have done that.
I thought MRP did one too.
No, they have a MRP ramp control.
Okay.
I don't think they have a spring conversion. But what their new damper does, which I've wanted to do forever, is be able to take a damper that I think is really, really good and be able to put it in whatever fork I want. And that's effectively what they've done. And now you have to buy it specifically for the fork, so they didn't make it interchangeable or movable.
Yeah.
But you can now get a different damper. The only company that I know of that's really done this in the U.S. Here's another U.S. one. That we didn't. There's two more you missed. So now that we're talking, there's two more.
Go.
And they're really obscure. One is Avalanche.
Never heard of that.
Avalanche does downhill stuff.
This is suspension?
Suspension, yeah. They create dampers for boxers and things like that. And
so like aftermarket,
yeah,
different dampers for existing like suspension products.
But also forks and I think rear shocks. And I think they came from the snowmobile industry, believe it or not. So there's Avalanche is one. And I believe almost everything is U.S. made, but I'm not 100% on that. The other one that I know is U.S. made that's been around forever is Risse Racing. And Risse...
How do you spell Risse?
Oh, God. I have to have Google do it. R-I-S-S-I-E or just E? I can't remember.
Keep talking and I'll look it up.
Yeah, so Risse back in the day made, I think it was called the Trixie fork, which was upside down. So back in the day, there used to be a lot of upside down forks, which the Fox Podium and the Push are both upside down forks. Risse back in the day made a couple of them, huge ones, like 12-inch travel forks. Like they were crazy. And they also made a bunch of rear shocks. And now they're a machining company. And so now what Risse tends to do is they still have some of their old stuff, but they fix a lot of legacy stuff, old stuff.
Are you sure that's a U.S. company?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a machine shop. Let me see the logo.
Yeah, I can't find anything. The only Risse I can find is in France.
No. Try R-E-I-S-S-E.
R-E-I.
Put in Risse Racing.
R-E-I-S-S.
Doing this live on the radio.
Risse Racing.
Yeah.
Well, we're not the only podcast.
I want to say they're in Washington. Could be.
Oh, Racing. Okay. R-I-S-S-E.
Yes, that's it.
Risse Racing Technology.
Yeah. Is that the one in the U.S.?
We also offer RST suspension service.
Yeah, they work on a bunch of random stuff. If you have an old, so like the old Epic brain shocks that were in the seat stays, where nobody works on them, they're made by Fox. Those guys will work on it.
You can get a Trixie.
Yeah, can you still get one?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this website looks really dated.
Dude, it is. Trust me, these guys are amazing machinists, and they will make you new axles for your hub. They'll do all kinds of stuff, but they are not marketing gurus, and they are definitely not website designers. But man, I want to go tour their website. You'll see them from time to time at some of the big trade shows. So
yeah, it's interesting. The tag on this website is 2009.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
So, and everything looks really old, man.
It's
oh, they got some posts from 2023.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's suspension.
Yep.
The next is wheels, hubs, and rims.
Oh God, that's
so. We'll start with Enve composite.
Yeah. So Enve is where they came from.
Go ahead.
Some engineers from Reynolds.
Okay.
And they went out on their own to do the stuff that was in their head that they wanted to do that they probably weren't allowed to do. One of the things that they built their reputation is they mold around the nipple holes. So they don't make their rim and then drill holes in it to put the nipples.
It's in the layup.
Yeah.
The holes are already in the layup.
Yeah, so the fibers go around it.
So you don't have a weak spot where you drilled through
Fibers.
the system.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so yeah, they've been...
they're a well-established, great brand. Enve wheels are great.
Absolutely.
One note that their rims and wheels are made in the United States, but not every product in their catalog is.
Yeah, I think a lot of their handlebars and things like that come from overseas.
Yep. Ogden, Utah.
Yeah.
Next one's Industry 9, I9.
Yeah, they're pretty. They almost bleed red, white, and blue. So, but get this
with
now.
one caveat.
Yeah, they're now going to have somewhat red and white with a maple leaf.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, because they bought We Are One.
Yep. Yeah.
Or merged with We Are One. I'm not sure how that worked out.
Well, and I think now that the old owner of We Are One is now their new. Not CEO, but maybe he's super high up.
He's still he's still in the leadership team.
Yeah.
So interesting. The same bike swap that I got that push fork from you.
You got some i9 hubs.
One of your bike mechanics, great guy, was walking around and he had some i9 hubs hanging off of the back of his backpack, and I think it's at like $300 or something.
Yep.
And he had bought a Reynolds wheel set that had i9 hubs. He doesn't like i9 hubs.
Yeah.
So he was just trying to move them. So I was like, Willie, are you really selling those?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right.
And they were brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah.
And then I had you lace them up to another set of Reynolds hubs. So we like reassembled the same wheel set that he had.
We did
a
custom set. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love those rims. I love those. I know some people have had problems with that, those specific hubs.
Yeah.
But I have not had any problems, and I love that.
Yeah.
On my cross-country bike.
I will tell you, I have Reynolds on most of my bikes, and I really like them.
I'm talking about the i9 hubs specifically.
I'm sorry. And that's what I meant was the i9 hubs.
Yep.
Usually they come on a Reynolds wheel, but we've had a couple customers that had some broken axles. Sometimes it was something else causing it, and sometimes there was just a weak point that they had.
Yeah, which they fixed in like the next generation.
In the newest version, they've really changed a lot. So in the Torch, they were pretty solid. Then they went to Hydra. They actually had more problems with Hydra.
Yep, and that's the generation I have.
Yep, and then after Hydra, they have Hydra 2 or whatever it's called. They've really addressed all those issues, and I haven't heard any problems from anybody.
Fantastic. So they're based in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Again, We Are One, which is a Canadian brand, and when we get to the Canada episode, we'll talk about We Are One.
Yeah.
Is part of them right now.
Yep.
Next one, old company that I used to have so many products on my bike. This was like the best thing was Chris King.
Yeah, Chris King was like, if you had Chris King headset on your bike, it meant that you were a real rider. Like if you didn't have Chris King, you were a poser. Like you had to have a real Chris King on your.
Like I would buy the headset and the bottom bracket and skewers. And I had Chris King everything. Man.
The hubs, everything.
Yeah. Chris King hubs would last forever.
I have a bike at home with a Chris King headset and hubs and bottom bracket.
Yeah,
so
just great. And I think Chris King, and one of the episodes I want to talk about is companies, mostly machine shops that we may do in the future that also service other industries. I think Chris King's one. No, they're not. Thompson is one of those.
Thompson, yeah.
Yeah, so forget that.
But Risse we were just talking about is the same thing.
Well, I don't think I have Thompson on my list. We have to talk about Thompson.
5Dev.
We
got that on your list?
We do. We'll get to them.
Okay.
I just lost my list, man. Now I got to go find it.
What?
I know. This is like amateur hour right now.
I know, but that's okay. It's our second of the day, so we get a little leeway, right?
But no one that's listening to this knows that it's our second. Well, I guess we told them.
Well, if you listened to us 2 weeks ago, this was the same day as this. Now, how does that work with the time-space continuum?
Vortex?
Did we open a rift? Like, is there...
We broke something in the time-space continuum.
Is there now a parallel universe?
All right, one more... So two more actually in the wheel game. White Industries,
yes.
Hubs, cranks, headsets, and bottom brackets.
They're still going strong. What are they most famous for? Do you know?
White Industries. Don't they have a crank that is like a titanium crank or something?
No,
that is super cheap. That is super expensive, but it's like one of the best cranks out, or some lightest cranks out.
That was EE, and now they're owned by King Creek.
Okay, The E-wing is the thing I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead. What is Onyx known for?
White Industries.
White Industries, sorry.
Yeah. So two things. Back in the day, they're cranks, so you're close. But now it's called the Eno hub.
Okay.
And the Eno hub is a hub that's got a eccentric offset axle. So you can put it on a bike and you can rotate it to get chain tension. So you can create a single speed on a bike that didn't used to be a single speed.
Oh, no shit. So I've used like concentric bottom brackets before, the same thing to rotate, but they just do it in the hub.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, really cool design. It helps, a lot of single speeders, if they can take an old frame and then make it a cool, that's part of the mystique and the culture. Like just going and buying a brand new single speed is not nearly as cool as
making one.
Yeah, finding a garage sale bike and then just modifying it. And so those Eno hubs are really cool for that.
Interesting. I didn't know that was even an option.
Yeah.
I've been getting the single speed itch lately.
Yeah. What I haven't researched is if there's a through axle Eno. That is
because they're not through axle.
Normally it was up back in the day for bolt on.
Okay.
And through axle presents an issue because the bolt on ones had to pinch the rear stays of the bike to keep it offset,
so it didn't rotate.
Yeah, and so I don't know
which I experienced in my concentric bottom bracket when I didn't tighten it.
Yep.
And that would be like, oh
and
shit, my chain
gets
falls
sloppy.
off.
Yep. So
final one is Onyx.
Yeah, Onyx
silent instant engagement hubs,
Sprag clutch. So
made in St. Augusta, Minnesota.
Yeah, huge in BMX. So like you talk to a BMXer, they all know Onyx.
I've built a couple BMX bikes and I've got a lot of Onyx components, like a lot of different Onyx components on that bike.
Yeah, that was good stuff. The mountain bikers love it because they're silent, and so you stop pedaling and all you hear is nature and the tires on the ground.
So a handful, moving off of wheels, this is kind of just like drivetrain components and cockpit stuff. First one is wolf tooth components.
Yeah. So another machine shop.
Yep.
Makes a lot of stuff and then started doing bike stuff and killing it. So
in Minnesota, chain rings, cassette, headset, tools, pedals. Some of their small hardware is imported, so not everything, but the major stuff I think is made in the United States. And I have a lot of wolf tooth components. I really like wolf tooth's dropper lever. As a matter of fact, I have it on, I think, almost all my bikes.
Yeah.
I really like the dropper lever. It's really simple, works really well for mechanical droppers. Their chain rings, I think, are fantastic. I've had really good experience with their chain rings, high end, that last forever.
Their bling kits. We sell a lot of their bling kits.
Okay, so what is a bling kit? This is like makes your bike look cool with color?
Yeah.
Okay,
so like
I could give two shits about that, so I'm never going to buy a bling kit.
We sell a ton. But it's like it comes with some headset spacers that are a particular color. So you can get purple or orange or whatever.
Yeah.
And then some water bottle bolts and what have you, and a top cap and things like that. So it just lets you
What does their bling kit cost? Like, is it $100 or something?
No, it's cheaper than that. You're catching me off guard because I've got like 6 of them.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. I didn't memorize that price.
Okay, no worries.
They're more than you think. Probably the most expensive thing.
I'm going to look them up while you're talking. Keep going.
Okay. The most expensive thing that I feel like in the bike shop that is unnecessary is headset spacers. Like I cannot find or source headset spacers that don't cost the customer like $5 to $10 a piece.
What seriously?
Yes, it's crazy. It is stupid. Even if I get them in bulk, they're expensive.
I mean, isn't that like an AliExpress thing?
Probably.
So the wolf tooth bling kit, it's about $35.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. So, and you get like, I don't know, the Fibonacci sequence of headset spacers. So, right, you got the big thick one, then a littler.
Yeah.
And then littler.
You have enough options
exactly,
to get the right spacing.
Yep. And then their top cap is really cool because it's a spacer. So it allows, so I like this as a mechanic. I don't like when the steerer tube doesn't get far enough through the stem because I don't think it's safe, especially on big hit bikes. And Wolf Tooth their top cap has a recess. So your steerer tube can actually be a couple millimeters above the stem and the top cap still functions
because
correctly.
The bolt is kind of bedded down into recessed into the top cap itself.
Yes, because the steerer tube can go up into the top cap.
Got it.
Enough. And you always need to have a gap so that you can tension it properly. And so on traditional top caps, they kind of sit on top.
Yep.
And if they hit your steer tube, they can bottom out and your headset will always be loose.
Yep.
And so the wolf tooth one is really
If you're not
nice.
a mechanic, that's a hard thing to understand.
Yeah.
I totally live
Well,
it. The
our
only
last-
top cap that I think is worth owning is one that says Guru Bikes on it. Just
Yeah,
for the record.
I've been switching. But we got to get cool colors because all we have are black and silver right now. But
maybe next time you do a run, we'll do some mountain cock ones too. I'll have you do some
That'd be
mountain cock
sweet.
ones.
Yeah.
We got to start selling our products. All right, so dig the wolf tooth stuff. Really cool. The next one, also a company that I've used a lot. Not so much recently, is Paul Component.
Yeah, Paul's old school.
Yeah.
It's hard to apply. Their hubs are pretty cool. They're really known for like their tandem hubs, and it's kind of weird. Back in the day, cantilever brakes, things like that.
I had a cross-check, a Surly cross-check, and I bought Paul cantilever brakes for it because they were like the strongest brakes out.
Yeah.
For rim. Actually, I'm a big boy, so they were like some of the only cantilever brakes that actually stopped.
They make a mechanical disc.
I didn't know that Paul made. I have mechanical discs. I have an MRP, I have Shimano, but I've never used. I have obviously the BB7s, which which everyone used, which SRAM. But I never knew that Paul. No, I think I did know that Paul made them.
They're bougie,
super cool, but they're expensive, like $500 a wheel or something.
Yeah,
right?
And they make thummies. Do you know what thummies are?
So I think I know what thummies are. This would be friction shifters.
Yeah, you can take the down tube shifters.
Yep.
And put them on these thummies to make like old school above the bar friction shifters.
Yeah.
So you can have kind of your retro bike, but you can get I don't know, I think you can get a 11 speed. I can't remember, but you can get a lot of them. It's just kind of cool. Bike packers, touring, they do a lot of like weird stuff for them. They have we were talking about, they make I think it's an access perch, for road bikes.
Really?
Yeah. So
I need to take a look at that then.
Yeah.
Because I'm struggling with that right now.
Yeah. They make a lot of
dropper on my road bike.
Yeah. They make a lot of cool adapters and not
problem
adapters,
solvers.
Not like that, but cool things that you can, that make a totally different product, that nobody else does.
But super high quality. I've used their products for a long time. I don't have anything, I don't think, currently on my bike, but man, Paul Components is a great company.
Yeah. They make a dropper lever and it's really cool looking.
God damn it. I wish you wouldn't have told me that.
It's bulky, but man, when you see it in person, it is just machined so cool. I think we have one at the shop, so I can show it to you.
Yeah.
It's just really cool looking. Like, again, it's if you're a bike guy and you don't have some sort of Chris King thing on, you probably want one of those, so.
All right. Final company, maybe there's a half of one after this, but is 5Dev.
Yeah. And they're new.
San Diego, California.
Yep. Yeah. So they kind of came on, and I don't know their origin story, but they're a machining company and they just started making these cranks. And I think they were meeting the market where it needed it, where short cranks.
Because everyone was looking for shorter cranks. And at one point, like 5Dev was one of the only companies that you could go to, right?
Yeah. They were like, nobody's making this. I wonder always how these companies, because this is a machine shop that just was like, one day was like, we're going to do this. That somebody there rides.
Or they're all mountain bikers and they just made their own cranks.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we could sell these.
Yes, exactly. Some guy got machine time like on the weekend or something and pumped it out. But yeah, they're really cool product. Now they're making titanium. Did you know they have like weighted spindles?
Oh, because like a lot of mountain bike or a lot of downhillers are putting weights in their bike and they want it in that center of gravity so that the bike feels more planted.
Yes, exactly. But they're they have these like solid spindles or pretty solid spindles for your cranks so that you
just to add more weight.
Add more weight, yeah.
Wow, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
So 5Dev. All right. The only other company I have on the list here that we didn't talk about, and they do some assembly, and their design in the United States is Cane Creek.
Yeah.
But I think most of their products, the products are manufactured overseas.
I think that's more common. So like one thing that I looked up was what are the big surprises? What companies don't produce
in the United States?
In the U.S. What's the number one?
That I would think produces in the United States, but doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, Revel comes to mind.
Okay.
any smaller company that's in like any smaller brand company, like, I don't know.
How about Specialized?
I would not think that Specialized would produce in the United States.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Trek used to do some stuff, and they might still.
They still have a little bit limited, but it's more prototypey. But the Specialized stories always kind of got me. Specialized started off as a distributor, and the guy would go over to Italy and pick up a bunch of campy stuff, bring it back, I think Southern California, maybe, I'm not sure where, but somewhere in California.
Right.
And then go to the bike shops and sell them these parts, but on his bike. He would go on his bike and sell these parts to the bike shops in his area. And that's where, I think that's Mike Sinyard. I think that's where he got his start. So Specialized has always been an importer and not a U.S. builder.
Right.
And I find that crazy, because,
because they're so big.
They're big and they're always been U.S., but they were importing and bringing stuff from overseas way before everybody else.
Yep.
So,
but we know Giant doesn't really.
Giant's not a U.S. company.
No, it's
so.
Yeah. We talked about them in one of our in How Much Do Bike Companies Make as one of the brands that we could actually see.
Yeah.
Trek, I think they did some stuff in Minnesota. I think they might still be doing some stuff there.
Wisconsin.
Trek
started as a U.S. manufacturer and was for many, many years. And then they kind of did, like most of these companies, they started shifting overseas to do just for competitive, advantage.
For prices.
But then they would do their Project One series and their race series, and some of their high-end carbons would all be made in Waterloo, Wisconsin. And then eventually they just kept going over. I think most of these companies had a heritage where they started here and then went over there. So that's the ones that stuck it out here are fairly new, except for Chris King. They've been around forever. Like Wolf Tooth's new, Five Dev's new.
Yep.
Cane Creek is fairly new. Not that new, but I'm trying to think. Moots has been around forever. Who else? Chumba's totally new.
Yeah, a lot of the like Moots, Foes, Ventana, Intense, Lightspeed, the Reeb, those have been around for a long time.
Reeb's not that new.
Reeb's
not that old.
But they're 15 years old, right?
Yeah, that's not very old.
I guess you're ancient.
That's true.
So bottom line is, if we look at everything here, right, you can get push suspension products and some of the other brands that you talk to, like Risse.
Yeah.
Right? That's a real boutique-y.
Yeah, very.
You can definitely get lots of options for wheels and hubs and rims between Enve, Industry 9, Chris King, White, and Onyx. Lots of drivetrain component cockpit stuff from Five Dev, Paul, Wolftooth. I think all these products, one thing that they have in common, I would say, you tell me if you believe this or not.
Uh-huh.
Every single company we talked about, with the exception of maybe Intense, which you didn't agree with me, every single company we talked about is super high quality products. Is that fair? Well, okay. So a couple final thoughts, and then we'll end this one. Country of origin does not dictate quality.
No.
Period.
Yeah.
And we're going to share just as an educational thing, like what companies are made in what country, what products are made in what countries. Because I think it's interesting to our bike nerds out there.
I got an idea for a podcast, and people can give us their feedback on
Go
this.
for it.
So one of my buddies would fly to Australia for a single speed race. And he would always take Chris King wheels, Chris King headset, and bottom bracket on his bike and
sell them
there. And it would almost it would almost pay for his trip. So the Chris King.
That's a very expensive trip, though, so folks know from America to Australia is a very, very expensive trip.
This was easily over 10 years ago. I don't know what the atmosphere, but he would almost pay for his trip, and he would do this every year. In fact, I had another friend who would fly to Italy, and he would buy a Conago bike.
Yep. Italian road bike.
And then bring it back here and sell it, ride it for a year, sell it for more than he paid for it. Then buy a Trek.
Take it to Italy.
Yeah, this is when Lance was doing well. And take it over to there and sell it for more than he had paid for it. And so something interesting, so I'll give you an example. The Chris King of Europe is Hope. Hope makes
Yep.
some amazing
When
products.
I lived in England, Hope was big over there.
Yeah, and I think their costs, I remember going in, this is again a while ago, I remember going into London into a bike shop and seeing Hope headsets way cheaper than I saw them here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's so much cheaper. But then you factor in
Tariffs and transport.
in transport, importing, all that complication.
Yep.
So same thing for Chris King over there. So Hope exists over there, and essentially because Chris King doesn't very much,
Yeah,
you know. And so it'd be really interesting to know what products are big in a region that are not here. So a bike that we carried that I wish we could still get, but we can't, is called Lapierre.
Yeah.
And they're like the Trek of France. So
Interesting.
yeah. So how many companies are like that? Because we had a lot of listeners comment.
Yeah, I was just going to say that to the people saying that we're not identifying this as a global market.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. But they're right. But they are right in the fact that there's a lot of brands out there that we don't even see.
Yep.
You know, and it'd be interesting to know what those are. I try and do a more global view, and watching Eurobike, watching Taiwan bike show and things like that kind of gives us more. So,
All right, buddy, we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
I'm going to go hit the trail.
Yep, for sure.
Let's do it. Get some 10 minutes to get some birria in us.
That's fine.
10 minutes to get changed, and then we get to the
Nice.
so
And we get to ride heavy bikes in
heavy
100
bikes
degrees.
after eating a belly full of birria.
Yeah, we're so slow.
All right, appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon or morning or evening.
Yeah, whenever.
Hey, what's up? This is Josh from the Mountain Cog Podcast. You got questions, comments, or feedback? Well, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. You can send it to mountaincog@gmail.com. Digging the show? There's a couple things you could do to help us out. First, you could tell your friends about Mountain Cog. And also, it would be great if you'd give us a good rating and review over at Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. We appreciate y'all. Go ride, keep the rubber side down.